Before this episode starts real fast, I do just want to say that I said, you know what I mean, probably 150 to 380 times throughout the entirety of the episode. I tried to take almost all of them out. I think I still missed a good amount of them, but it is excruciating sometimes. I don't know if it bothers you. I'm very sorry. I'm trying to take it out of my vocabulary. I don't think I've said it at all today. Abby, how many times do you think I've said it today? Maybe like 5 times. If I didn't edit this, you would hear me say it 5 times. I was doing this thing. I was just tired, and I was just having fun, but I was just tired sitting on this couch, and I was literally saying, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? So I was going 8 seconds ahead and taking out another little, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's also a little choppy. I love you. Enjoy anyway. Bye-bye. Welcome back to another episode of the SpeedRacinJason Podcast. It is episode 201. It is the Christmas episode, so we're excited. I have a zit right on the tip of my nose, which makes me look like Rudolph, so we got that going for us. I don't have a holiday outfit, but I do have these Visa gift cards that I'm going to call random local businesses close to me, ask the employees, like, hey, you got a second? Ask them a couple of trivia questions, and then if they get it right, I'll come and drop this off at your work right now. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm kind of nervous to do this, to be quite honest with you, because I don't really even know if it's going to work. I'm going to call this gas station that I go to all the time right down the street. It's 7 minutes away. It closes at 10. I don't even know if they would have a phone. It says they have a phone number. Let's try and call it. I got nervous. I bailed. I didn't even really have a plan of what I was going to say. Holy shit. Okay, okay. I thought of this idea and I didn't really think through exactly what I was going to say. So I don't know if that ruins that business if I can't call back there. I could probably call back there in a minute. We'll figure it out. But give me a second. Let's think of something to actually say, because I was kind of thinking like... Oh, dude, I got so nervous. Should I be doing *67? I don't know if I should put the *67 thing in front of it. Okay, we'll come back to it. This is a disaster. I thought this was going to go way better in my head. Okay, I'm calling them back. Hey, sorry about that. I think my phone disconnected. I just tried to call a second ago. Do you have a second? Are you guys super busy?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, so here's what I was thinking, right? So it's the holiday season. I've got some Visa gift cards in my hand. I'm doing a podcast right now, so you are being recorded. If you don't want to do that, that's totally okay, but I want to ask you a couple trivia questions. If you get one of them correct, I will drive over to the gas station. I come in all the time, and I'll give you one of these gift cards.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Well, what is it about?
Well, it's just kind of for fun. It's for my podcast that I'm doing. And, it's like the holiday season and I want to give people gifts. So I got these gift cards. They're for $25. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's a Visa gift card. I'll come and drop it off at the work.
Okay.
You want to do it?
I guess.
Okay, cool. Okay, so my first question. Can you name all of the continents in the world?
Continent?
Yeah, like the continents. We're in North America. I'll give you that one. Okay, so there's 7 other continents in the world. Do you know all 7?
Ooh. So one is North America?
Yeah, we got 1, North America.
South America?
Right. South America. That's 2.
China?
Okay, we don't have China. We have Asia. Do you want to?
Oh, Asia.
Yep. I'll give you that one. Okay. If you don't get this question though, that's okay. You got 2 other questions to redeem it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to keep going on the continents? I'll give you another attempt, but if you don't have any more, then we'll just move on to the next question.
Alrighty.
You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think of a good one here. Okay. I think I have another one right here. Okay. Which of the following does not grow on a tree? An eggplant, an olive, or an avocado?
Does not grow on a tree.
Yeah.
Eggplant.
Eggplant is correct, man. I will drive down. Okay. What's your name again?
Sway.
Sway?
Yeah.
How long are you working? You working for a couple minutes?
Until 9.
Okay, cool. Wait, it's 9:55 right now. Or is my phone wrong?
Nice.
Oh, it's 8:11. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Okay, yeah. So okay, I'll swing down right now.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Dude, so I hope that all got recorded. I got so nervous, man. I got a little nervous, to be honest with you. And I don't know. We're gonna have even more fun on this next one, but I deadass now have to pause because I only have 45 minutes to run this dude a gift card real quick. And I was looking at my screenshot. I fucked up, dude. He probably knows that I smoked weed before this. I'll probably have to cut that part. Okay, so that was pretty funny because I got really nervous on that one, to be quite honest with you. That was a test run, but it went good. The guy's name was Sway. He took a picture with me. I'll put it right here. I was like, hey man, if you want to take a picture, like we can, if you're nervous about it or whatever, we can you could use the card to cover up your face. I don't know if he thought I was telling him he has to do that, but I don't know. I thought that would be good. In case somebody's I don't know if I want to be in this weird dude's YouTube video that just called me, but I was also super nervous on the phone call, and I don't know. I just think I can do a lot better. So I have another gift card out in my car right now. I left it out there because I took it with me just in case, because I was like, what if something funny happens? What if there's another coworker standing there and is all jealous? I was going to ask him a trivia question on the spot, to be honest with you. I had I was trying to think it out. Okay, so there's another gas station that I hit all the time on the way to work that I'm thinking about calling. I should say all of my trivia is coming directly from today.com. 106 trivia 115 fun trivia questions you probably don't know the answers to on today.com. So I don't know if any of these are actually correct. If they're wrong, tell me in the comments, yell at me. I don't really care, but it's still fun. So if they have the same answer that today.com has, because they are the keeper of all words. I mean, dude, they pretty much, today.com studied for years, man. Okay, so okay, I have a question right here. I like this one. What year did MTV launch? 1981. That's maybe a fun one. Okay, so I'm going to call this gas station right down the road and go try, and we'll see. Dude, I'm going to feel so bad if somebody doesn't get the correct answers and I have to be sorry, never mind. I probably wouldn't even do that.
Thank you for calling Space Age. This is Sandy. How can I help you?
Hello. So do you guys have a couple of seconds, or are you guys super busy?
It depends on what you want.
Okay, so I do a podcast, right? I come into your guys' gas station all the time, and I do this podcast, and it's the holiday seasons, and I want to be Santa Claus. So what I just did a minute ago is I called a different gas station that I go to. I asked the guy 3 trivia questions. If he got them right, I went and dropped off a gift card to him. So I got $25 Visa gift cards, so you can just spend them anywhere. And so I will bring you one right now before you guys close, because I think you guys close at 11.
We do, but we're not supposed to do that kind of stuff, so I'm not sure.
Okay. No, I totally understand if you don't want to. That's totally fine. All good.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Ah, what the fuck, dude? I like her, dude. She likes me too. I think if she saw who I was, I think she would be a little bit more into it. But I don't know. She probably thinks I'm going to wait for her outside of her car or something. Dude, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to drop off a gift card, dude. Be Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Get in the Christmas spirit. Okay. Well, That puts a damper on things. Maybe I'll call the next one. What is the next gas station that I go to? I'm not really supposed to do that. Neither was the other guy, dude, but he was into it. Okay, here we go. I'm calling the next one. I go to this gas station a lot, but it's not on my way to work. And so I usually am hitting gas stations like on my way to work or like on my way home from work. So I haven't been going there as frequently, but ironically enough, I did work at this gas station in 2016 or so, something like that. Sometime like right during high school, in between junior year and senior year, I worked at a gas station. That's part of the reason, dude, gas station jobs kind of suck, but are also kind of cool. I mean, any job is as good as you make it. You know what I mean? I just got off of work myself. You know what I mean? Whatever, you know, but I do want to just do something kind of fun for the holiday season, bro. Get all excited for it. Okay, let's call them.
This is 07. We hold on a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Ooh, he sounds busy, dude. Okay, well, we're hanging up on him. Not in a mean way, but I feel like he's probably too busy to do trivia if he had to put me on hold for that long. Hate to be like, hey man, stop helping the customers. I know they're going to yell at you. How many continents are there? Oh, that's so funny. Okay, here we go. I'm calling a different gas station.
Bill 76, this is Monica.
Hello, are you guys like super busy right now, or do you maybe have a second?
I have a second.
Okay, so I'm doing a podcast right now, so it's technically being recorded. If you don't want to do it, that's totally okay. But I just did this thing where I gave a guy a gift card that worked at a different 76 over in. So what I do is I ask you 3 trivia questions, and if you answer the questions correctly, then I come and drop off a $25 gift card to you.
Go for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, the other guy did it, but then somebody else didn't want to do it. And then I was like, it kind of got my hopes down. Okay, here we go. What year did MTV launch?
1980?
Oh, that's so close. Okay, it's 1981. So you got 2 more. You got 2 more questions. Okay. 1 second. Okay, how many pounds are in a ton?
What?
Do you know how many pounds are in a ton?
Hey, Ryan, how many pounds are in a ton? 680.
No, Ryan, that's not correct. It's 2000. Okay, wait. Okay, 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Here, I want to get. I want you to win it, to be honest with you. So I got to choose a good question for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Who was the first American Idol winner?
Oh no! Oh, Carrie Underwood.
Oh no, that's not it either.
Oh no, it was that. It was the style, not Styles. Ruben.
No, it was Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
Okay,
wait. Win nothing.
Can I ask you just like 2 more questions?
Okay, hurry.
Okay, wait. What type of race is the Tour de France?
Bike race.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm coming over right now. What was your name again?
Monica.
Okay, Monica, I'll be there in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Dude, that one went way better. Round number 2 was way better. I loved it. That was awesome. Shout out to Monica, and she's winner number 2. Okay, I'm going to go drive over there real fast, give it to her. Okay, so I just got back from the 76, the second 76 of the night. I went and gave out both of those gift cards. It was really cool to do that. You know, I wish it could be for more money. I don't really have more money to do that, you know, like, so if you guys want, go subscribe to the Patreon, you know, and we could technically do that all year round. You don't have to just do that during the holiday times, you know, radio shows all the time, you know, they're like, caller number 9, you know, you get $500 or whatever, guess the song, you know, so, you know, if we had the Patreon really popping, if we were making a G bar or something a month, we would do 1 month where I just, okay, you know, $500 or $1,000. You know, I don't really know how it works with taxes. I think at a certain point I don't know. Either way, it was a lot of fun to do that. Both people were really excited. The second one was way smoother, I would say, you know, which is funny because the first one I was definitely like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I've never done this. I've never called a random business, tried to convince them to talk to me on the phone, answer random trivia questions, tell them they're being recorded, and fucking, you know, tell them that I'm going to come over to where they're working. It definitely sounded kind of weird, you know. It was really funny though. So I got pictures with both the people. It was Monica and Sway were the two people, you know. So it was a lot of fun. I appreciate doing that. I was going to then tell you guys all about Vegas and put that at the beginning of the episode. I'm almost now thinking I kind of want to go to bed, but maybe I'll still just record the Vegas chunk. We'll put that in either way. Yo, I'm back. So I was going to record this chunk 2 nights ago when I recorded all of the gift card stuff. That was a whole lot of fun, by the way. I enjoyed doing it. It was so funny to watch myself do that first one. Dude, I was like so nervous and like, I don't know, man. I think we were having a bit of communication issues. Like, you know, but I was like, just like, or something, there was everything, you know, dude. And I was like so nervous on the first one. And then the second one went so much better. So, but no, yeah, I think that was really cool to do. I was like, okay, I think that was a pretty decent one. That was pretty entertaining. It was fun all around. I enjoyed it. Either way, I wanted to record this chunk the other night. This is me talking about Vegas. So me and Abby and my family just got back from Vegas. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of entertaining stuff, and I wanted to tell some of the stories or whatever. And I was going to record this after the gift card things, but it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I think it was even later than that. I think it was like 11. And then I was like, dude, I'm just bailing. And so then last night I got off work and I came home and I edited and I watched all the footage and I was like, damn, that was cool, you know? And I was like, I told some people about it at work and they're like, that's fun, you know? And it was just something cool for the holidays, you know, spread holiday cheer. But yeah, I wanted to just sit down and recap Vegas pretty much. We got off work early today. So it's 1:55. I'm very excited that it's 1:55. This is the earliest I've recorded a podcast in a long while because every time I record one, it seems to be after work one night. So I was off early today because at 11 o'clock or at 11:30, we did like a little company Christmas party, holiday party and everything because this is the Christmas episode. I think I'm releasing it on Christmas, but haven't really decided yet. Either way, you know, everybody's in that mood. So we did a little holiday party and it was really nice. You know, we had Chick-fil-A, everything was cool. We hung out, did all of that, and we were like trying to get out of there by like 12:30 or 1 because it's gonna get bad here supposedly. I mean, the weathermen in Oregon seem to really fuck it up a lot of the times. I don't know, maybe every weatherman does, or like maybe whatever, and maybe I'm just wrong, and I'm kind of hoping I'm wrong because I don't really want to get all snowed in and everything. And so it's supposedly supposed to get really bad, the weather here today. So we got off work early to try and account for that. And this morning I got up and I was like, I'm going to record the podcast. And I had like just enough time. I woke up at 5. I set my alarms for 5:15 and like 5:20. And I ended up getting up at like 5:50. So I had like just enough time that I was like, if I run out there, like don't shower, brush my teeth, any of that stuff, like I can actually maybe get a podcast, but I'm still going to be kind of late for work. And then so I was like, I don't know. I don't even get to eat breakfast. You know what I mean? I like doing podcasts, but I don't know if I like doing podcasts that much is what I'm trying to get at. No, man, I'm like, I don't know. So I bailed on it this morning and then I got off work and everything and I came home and I'm supposed to go down to Abby's before the weather gets super bad. And I'm hoping that right now I have like just enough time. I'm kind of in the same spot where I'm like, I need to like just hurry and get it done. And I just kind of recorded one and then like the recorder died. So I don't really know if it saved it or not. So it was like, shit, I just had to like kind of start over. I'm like, I don't need setbacks today. So I'm trying to hurry and everything. But the weather's getting bad here, supposedly in the next hour and a half. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you probably live in a place that you get snow and everything. we didn't see no snow in Vegas, man. And that was one of my main takeaways from that place. I was like, dude, I could live here. The weather's perfect. Fucking, I enjoyed it so much. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like a lizard. I like the heat, dude. I got 6 layers on right now. I weigh 124 pounds, like not enough to like keep me warm during the winter. I've got the long johns on, these sexy things if you're watching on YouTube right now. But me and Abby have pretty much decided that we're moving down to Las Vegas at some point in time. So I'm hoping by then I can have a podcast that's popping off enough that it helps pay some of the bills. But I also looked into it. I mean, right now I do glass and windows and stuff like that. There's a lot of windows in Las Vegas and there's a lot of jobs for what I do down there. And I'm like, damn, you know, and like we're dead ass kind of considering it pretty heavily. Dude, it was just so nice. And like, I was talking to my friends at work and stuff, you know, like I was talking to Tim at work and I'm like, dude, I have lived here in Oregon 25 years. I have lived in this house. I haven't moved. I still live with my parents. I have lived in the exact same house for 25 years. Now I'm 24, so almost 25. I'm big fish in it. Exaggerating a little bit, but 25 years pretty much. I pretty much did my life sentence. You know what I mean? A life sentence is 25 to life, right? I did a life sentence in Oregon pretty much, or whatever. I've loved it, man. I love this house. Like that's part of the reason I haven't fucking moved out. We're trying to kind of figure out a house and everything like that. And we don't want to do an apartment, but I love living here. We live out, you know, on 20 acres and like we've had animals and all of these things, you know, like I think it was good. And I've learned like so many like life lessons from the way I've been brought up and shit. And I don't know, I've really, really loved it. But I'm kind of at the point that I would like to experience something else. I don't think that's that bad, right? And I'm sure you guys have felt it, whether you've felt it and acted on it, or you've just felt it and you haven't, you know, moved or something like that. But I kind of feel like it would be nice to try something different, you know? And man, I liked it in Las Vegas. Ah, shit. Gabe from work is calling me. Yo, what's up?
Jay,
What are you doing?
sorry to bug you off the clock, buddy, but I was just gonna ask you, do you have the emergency cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay. I last time I kind of had it for a couple of days when you were gone, and I can't remember did someone grab it from the shop or what happened to it. I'm like,
Yeah, no,
oh,
I
shit.
grabbed it back when I came back. Thank you for watching it.
Okay.
You want to be on my podcast?
What podcast?
I've been doing this podcast where I like call people and shit, but you just called me and my phone's hooked up. So you're technically being recorded. I was just going to edit you out, but you want to say hi?
I want to shout out to my dog, Jay. Jay dog. Arr, arr.
Arr, arr. Dude, that's so funny. Alrighty. I appreciate it.
All right, bro.
I'll talk to you. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
You too, man. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dude, that's so funny. Gabe's one of my favorite fucking coworkers. He did come to like my engagement party and everything like that. So that is hilarious that he just called me randomly. What were we talking about? Vegas, dude. I loved it down there. Is pretty much what I was getting at. And I don't know how much you guys want to hear me talk about it, but I don't know. I think I'm kind of ready to move, and I think we're very much so considering it. I mean, the only thing that I would really miss here is friends and family. I kind of think the only thing that I'd really miss is my friends and my family, dude. And if I lived in Las Vegas, because we're not really considering Las Vegas, we're technically considering like Henderson or somewhere down there. It's like 20 minutes outside of Las Vegas, right? It's like a suburb. So that would be pretty easy to get any of my friends and family down there to visit, dude. Anyone in my friend or family group, a friend and family list on fucking Facebook, whatever, they love Las Vegas. I know that I could get all of my family down there, no problem. Abby could too, you know, like her family's already said the same thing. They're like, dude, because Abby was actually born in Arizona, in Tucson, you know, so like she's kind of from the desert. So that was kind of one of the things that we were like joking about, like while we were back. I'm like, I brought you to your homeland, you know, and like all of this shit, like we were joking around. But I don't really know. You know, she really likes it. Her family would come and visit. And like, I know I would come and visit because all of my friends and family are here for the most part, you know? Another thing that's kind of dumb, but I do consider it, like anytime me and Abby are like looking at houses and everything like that, is I have been trying to go to like Helium and different like comedy things, you know, pretty often lately. So I would like to live in a city that's not so far away from like, you know, like, cause I'm already having like a hard time like getting down there and like doing that shit, you know what I mean, especially after work and all of that. But if I added on top of that like an hour and a half drive to do an open mic, like it would make it way harder. But if I lived 20 minutes outside of fucking Las Vegas, I think I'd have a lot easier time doing it. There's so many more places, and on top of that, I wouldn't be in Portland anymore. And no fucking offense, but I feel like it kind of sucks here. Comedy's it's something here, man. And so I don't think that I would have any harder of a time, at least doing that shit down there. That's another positive about Vegas or wherever outside of it. But dude, holy shit, I'm breathing hard into the microphone. All I'm trying to say is we're really considering it. Please subscribe to my Patreon and help me pay my bills, and I will move down there tomorrow. If I get this thing popping enough, me and Abby will move anywhere. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'll have to kind of start in chronological order and pretty much just kind of go through the whole rundown, you know, so then I can kind of remember where I'm at and continue telling this story. When we left to Vegas, right? Let's just start. Let's say it's Monday, right? My family is flying out on Thursday night. Me and Abby had not even initially planned on going with my family down there because we didn't really want to spend the money because we are kind of looking at houses and all of that shit. Either way, one night I had a very shitty day at work and I came home and I was like, guess what? I'm buying the tickets. We're going to Vegas too. We're taking at least a little vacation. You know, I had all this PTO and vacation time saved up from the whole year. I had 40 fucking hours saved up. So I was like, I might as well do something. So I come home, I buy the tickets one night or whatever. It's like a while. It was a while back that we did it, but let's go back to this Monday. Okay. So on Monday, my family was set to leave on Thursday. And on Thursday, I was going to take over control of the whole fucking ordeal, the whole farm. You know what I mean? I was going to get to play Old MacDonald is what I'm saying, dude. So I had to watch all of the inside animals and all of the outside animals. So Thursday night, after I get off work, I come home, I'm down in the barn, I'm feeding the fucking goats, the horses, doing everything my little sister wrote down on this list because she knew I was going to fuck it up somehow. So she numbered it out 1 to 24 steps of how to feed the barn animals. I went down there. I do all of that. You know, it's about 6:30 at night or whatever. I come back up here. I'm still alone. It's just me. Abby didn't come up, but my family's gone and everything. They had left in the morning. So I come back up to the house. I'm hanging out. I'm eating a pizza. You know, I'm chilling, hanging. Okay, I have to feed all of the inside animals. So at like 7 o'clock, I start trying to feed the inside animals. And all of a sudden, my little brothers, which on the inside animals, I mean, dude, it's the same thing as the barn. It's just inside the house. I mean, right now we have 4 dogs in my house, 2 regular sized dogs, 2 puppies. We have 3 cats inside of my house. We've got a hamster. We have a pig. We have fucking, I don't know what else. Probably something else is in there that I don't even know about. I'm inside. I start to feed the dogs and I get my little brother's puppy's dog dish down and I take it in the back room. That's where Bert lives, the pig. And I start scooping up some food or whatever. Well, the puppy comes flying past me, tries to get in there because this dog loves fucking taking animal turds. It takes the cat turds out of the litter box. Any of Bert's turds it can grab. It's like, I love me some turds, right? And it runs past me and I know exactly what the fuck it's trying to do, but I'm already hunkered over. I'm bent over, right? And as I'm bent over, she's trying to run by me and I like try and grab her back, pull her back like, dude, you're not going in there. Well, as I do that, I pulled, I don't know how many muscles in my back, dude. I severely fucked up my back. I was like locked up now and I'm just hunkered over. The dog still ends up getting a turd, runs it back out into the living room. Now I'm hunkered over and I'm just sitting, I'm like locked. You know what I mean? I finally like get straightened back up and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm set to leave for Vegas on Saturday morning. It's now Thursday night around 8 o'clock. I can't move. I like barely finished feeding all the animals and I like kind of just crawl into bed and I'm like, I hope I feel better in the morning, I guess, because I pretty much only have tomorrow to recover. And then by Saturday, I need to be good. I go to bed or whatever. I creep down to the hallway. I get in bed, wake up the next morning. It's Friday. And I'm like, dude, I think maybe I feel a little bit better. Can I try and get up? I'm like, nope, I feel worse, buddy. Oh, I'm just like pretty much crying in my fucking bed. And I hate having back problems because like, especially when I was younger and people used to complain about back problems, and I'm not old right now. That's not what I'm saying. And I know there's someone older than me listening to this being like, oh, you think it's bad now? I'm like, dude, I fucking know. I know it's not getting better. You see what's down the line. I hate when people say that. I'm like, God, I know, dude. Don't tell me that. It's going to get worse. I know. But I'm only 25. I'm not that old. But when I was younger, especially if I saw people with back pain or migraines, I was like, you're a liar. And it's kind of fucked up to say, but it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? I had never really experienced either of those. So I was like, those are made up. It's funny. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody out there. It's not funny. It's a real problem. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm saying I understand that. But when I was younger, I definitely just didn't believe your ass. I was like, oh, you're a pussy. Now I'm like, I understand, because it's so funny because I look like a young, chipper, young buck. You know what I mean? So on Friday, when I wake up and I can barely get out of bed and I finally force myself to get out of bed and drive my ass down to the post office, hoping that I had like an extra vinyl check there that I was kind of waiting on, you know, and I get out of the car, I look how I look. But I was walking like a 95-year-old man, like opening the car door, and I would turn like just the slightest degree and just yell, fuck, or like, make these noises, and everybody's looking at you. When you see an old man, you're like, oh shit, he's probably got an old back, bodies deteriorate, all that stuff, but when you see me, you're like, what's wrong with this kid? You know what I mean? You're like, I don't know. Or at least that's how I felt. You always feel like people are watching you. Probably nobody looked over at me. That's probably what happened, to be honest with you. But I roamed around on Friday. I end up, hanging out, and luckily Abby and my cousin, who was set to take care of all of the animals when me and Abby were leaving the following morning, Abby and my cousin Cole, they, had came up on Friday afternoon, and they had seen me like limping all around the house and stuff. And like, I told them about what had happened and everything. And like, they knew that I was pretty fucked. So they took care of feeding all the barn animals for me, which was very nice of them. Thank you very much. So Cole leaves everything. Me and Abby kind of hang out. It's now Saturday morning, right? We had gone to bed that last night, just hung out. I don't really know what we did. Saturday morning. That's the thing, is I'm recapping Vegas now like a week later. So in a second, I'm going to have to pull out my pictures and just scroll up and make sure that I'm like, oh yeah, dude, we did that. Okay. So, I'll be including the pictures right here, I think, for the most part, or whatever, wherever. This side, doesn't matter. Saturday morning, we wake up, it's 9:30. My back's still pretty messed up. And the reason I'm starting the story with the back story is because it drastically changed the trip. You know what I mean? Like, I thought for a minute there, I was legitimately like, great, I don't get to go now, like, because I can't really walk. The airport alone is going to be a nightmare. And so my back's still pretty iffy, and it's like hurting randomly and like giving me those pains where I'd like fall over as I'm walking. But Abby's parents came and picked us up at about 9:30. We make it to the airport about 10:30, and we get there about 10:15 actually. as we walk through the doors, we get to the Frontier gate. We flew Frontier, which I will never fly again, by the way. But I get there and I'm like, cool, Frontier. And I like walk in and I'm looking at all the kiosks, like the Delta and American, all of those things. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is the Frontier one? It said that it's here at this door. That's why they dropped us off here. I don't see it anywhere on the board. I finally realize it's these two lone little kiosks that don't even have a sign. There's no sign literally anywhere. There's two TVs up there and they have tiny little size 6 font that says Frontier will open 2 hours before takeoff or something like that. They're not even like like they're so fucking whatever that they don't even have people like, you know what I mean? You could check into your Delta flight fucking 18 hours beforehand, I think. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I'm here at the airport, you know? These people are like, nah, we're not even sending anyone until about 2 hours before. So me and Abby had gotten there at like 10, you know, so we were like super early. So we're just kind of hanging, you know, waiting, and we're sitting in this line pretty much. And finally, this dude walks up behind me and taps me on the shoulder and he's like, is this the Frontier line, in this crazy German accent? And I was like, yes. Because dude, anytime I like hear people with good accents and I'm like, he's asking if this is the Frontier line, I'm assuming he's probably also flying on the same flight, who's about our age, you know, I'm sure he's going to Vegas, you know what I mean? I guarantee you he's going to want to wait in this line too. And he's going to have the most interesting, I'm going to have the most interesting conversation with this dude because he's fucking from Germany. So I always get excited when I hear people with accents. So I'm like, yeah, man, this is the Frontier line. Are you flying this one? You know, and I'm like trying to trap him in, you know, me and Abby. And of course, Abby's like intrigued too, because he has a fucking German accent. He's sitting, you know, or he's standing up next to us and he's telling us, oh yeah, you know, this is kind of a weird deal. This airline seems super weird. They charge me with a bunch of like extra fees and all of this stuff. And like, then they don't even have people working, you know, and like all of this, you know, and I'm like, yes, dude, I'm complaining about the same thing to Abby. So I'm glad that there's this man here now doing it. He just has he has an accent. And so he's talking to us. And once we told him, yeah, this is the Frontier line and everything, he goes like this, you know, and waves over all these fucking other kids, or not kids, dude. It's funny because I say kids because I think of myself as a kid half the time still, even though I'm 24. They were all like our age, you know what I mean? Or like 22 probably. And he like waves them all over, and they were all different exchange students. So it's super cool because he waves over, you know, like I was just telling you, my favorite thing is getting to have these conversations because I'm like, cool, they're gonna like, everyone with an accent, you know, it's just like fun because they're complete and they're different, you know, they're the same but different. And it was like 2 Japanese exchange students. It was 1 South Korean exchange student. Those 3 were all guys. And then a girl from Taiwan, right? And then, am I forgetting one? I don't think I'm forgetting anyone, right? So now we're all 6 just standing in this Frontier line. Now the wait only seemed like it took a minute. We had this cool ass conversation. Oh, cool. You know, like maybe we should hang out again. You know, we'll see you on the other side and all of that stuff. We go and get checked in and everything, make it through TSA, and it's funny because of course they see us in the TSA line, so then we're like hanging out with them over there too, you know. And then we make it through the TSA, we go and get some food, and they kind of go their separate ways for a little bit, you know, and we're talking to them and having fun and everything. And then we go to get onto the flight, and we get on the flight, you know, we sit down, and then their little group comes by, and we're like, oh cool, you know, and we'd kind of ask them like what they were gonna do in Las Vegas and everything. And they had, one of the main things they had said, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to that Dick's Last Resort and everything. And and we're like, oh cool, you know, and like all of this other stuff, then Grand Canyon, all of the cool stuff, you know, even though that's not in Vegas. Either way, we're sitting on the plane, they come and sit down, cool. Now me and Abby are like chilling on the flight, you know, just hanging out, waiting. And before we had gotten on the flight, I had noticed these girls, like I'd already clocked them, you know, there was like a big family. So they were all having fun. You know, it's easy in a big family. We would follow the pack leader. So these girls, dude, had just fucking turned it on at the airport. You know what I mean? Like I drank before I got on the flight. I get a little bit nervous too. I had drank a little bit, whatever. Maybe I ordered a double. That's fine. Whatever. they were fucking lit. You know what I mean? And they were doing like all of the wasted white girl shit, even though one of them wasn't white. And so we finally get on the plane and they are sitting right in. So I'm sitting, I bought a window seat for Abby because she had never really flown that she remembered, at least. I sat in the middle. Some like 17-year-old girl sat right next to me. And then in front of me to the right, so the aisle seat in front of me, was one of the girls, and across the aisle was another one of the girls, and then all of the family was like kind of huddled in that group on that side, like taking up all of those seats and shit. So they the whole time were like, the second they sat down, they're like, oh my God, my bestie, you know what I mean? Like across the aisle and doing all this like super drunk girl shit. And I'm like kind of laughing at them and everything. And finally the stewardess comes up over to the girl, the aisle seat in front of me to the right, and goes, hey, you know, can we potentially like ask you to move, because we're going to have a person that can't really move at all, you know, so he's going to need to sit in that window seat, and then their like caretaker's going to sit in the middle seat, you know. And so and she's like, well, I don't know, you know, like as long as like I get to still sit next to my bestie, and she's like making this whole scene about it and everything. So finally she like gets up and everything. They bring on this kid who I'm not 100%, and I'm not trying to like hate or anything, you know what I mean? I'm just stating the facts. Or not facts. That's what I guess I'm saying, is I don't know if they're facts, but I think they're facts. I think he had I think he had like the cerebral palsy and was autistic. You know what I mean? I think I've kind of seen that before. I went to school with a kid that kind of had a similar setup, and I you know, where it's like a wheelchair, but like they can't really, I don't know. I'm not, it sounds like offensive, and I'm not trying to get into that right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm not trying to be or whatever, like cool kid. But they bring him down in like his wheelchair, and like kind of the whole time, you know, he's like coming down the aisle, like making noises and like flailing, you know what I mean? Like, cause I don't think he has control of his motor functions, you know? So he's like slapping shit, you know, which planes are a tight environment. So they bring him in, put him on the window seat. Now his mom is right behind him the entire time, like kind of helping push the wheelchair and everything and helping with him. And she was super nice. Like it was so sweet. You know what I mean? You could tell she like really loves this kid, and she like gets him into the seat. She sits down, or no, she's still standing. And she asks this drunk white girl like, hey, can you potentially trade seats with him? He's my husband, you know, this other like Mexican dude. And they're all like, you could tell like they were really nice and kind of like, you know, it'd be really cool if we could sit right here next to all of us, you know, and in the seat. And like, honestly, kind of for the best, because like this kid, like he can't control it, and it's not his fault or anything, but he legitimately might smack you just halfway through the flight. You know what I mean? But the mom was doing very good of like trying to kind of like, hey, you know, happy hands. She kept saying that and like trying to like put him down, you know, and like hold him down a little bit, you know, it is what it is. Like, and she's like, no, I can't switch seats. Like, this is my bestie, all of this crazy shit, you know, like just still yelling about how it's her bestie. And so I felt bad because this dude had to now go sit in like the back of the plane, you know, and like, I'm like, well, one person has to kind of get screwed in that situation, and she bought that ticket, I guess. So, you know, I guess if it's her prerogative, she can stay there and everything. This is where it gets great though. And I'm sure you guys are like, what the fuck is this story leading up to? But I promise you it gets so good here in about 2 seconds. And maybe not. Maybe it only gets so good to me because Abby looked fucking disgusted with me when I did this. The kid's sitting there. The mom's sitting there. The drunk white girl sitting there talking to her bestie, and now this mom who is also her bestie. You know what I mean? And she's like asking all of these questions like to this lady and everything, and she's like talking and all of this stuff, and she finally like asks the mom and son why are you traveling? Pretty much. I forget exactly how it got brought up. And she goes, well, I'm getting married this weekend. And she goes, oh, like, that's so exciting. And then it like clicks in this drunk white lady's head that she just booted that dude, her fiance, and this kid's probably father or like stepfather, you know what I mean? To the back of the plane because she wanted to sit next to her bestie, dude, which is so funny. And so, of course, she immediately is like, oh my God, this is their wedding weekend. You know what she's like, it's your wedding. Is that the guy that I didn't let sit here? And she was like, yes, and she just like immediately like starts crying. She like starts crying and shit. And I just busted out, dude. I laughed so fucking hard. Until I started laughing, and this is the first time in our relationship she's really done this. Abby legitimately like smacked me, dude, because it was so funny. Because it was like she didn't know, you know what I mean? But it was like such a selfish act. And like if she was, oh shit, I just hit the fucking recorder. I don't know what I would have done in this situation but it was just so funny because she was like felt so bad and I got to witness it. So I don't know. Maybe that story just got really, really good, or just your guys were like, damn, I don't really know if I want to associate with this guy anymore because he thought that was funny. Dude, I thought it was so funny. Either way, we continue on the flight, hang out, all of that shit. Fucking land the plane. Pretty nice. We land in Vegas. Cool. We get there around 3:30, I think, in the afternoon. And me and Abby are like, okay, we're going to be like kind of out tonight and everything. So let's go like take a nap pretty much. Let's go get checked into the hotel, take a little nap, and then we'll meet up with my family and everything. And we'll see what they're doing because they're staying in the hotel and all of that. So we go up to the room. Nice little room, not bad. I got us like the strip view, so we could kind of look out the window and everything. And we get there and we take a little nap and oh man, it was nice. You know what I mean? Like just, probably woke up around 5:30 and I like called my mom and everything. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? And she goes, we're going to this place called Dick's Last Resort. And I was like, is it the place where they're mean to you? Because the fucking exchange students had told me all about it. Yeah. Have you heard of it? And I was like, we just heard about it from these freaking friends that we just met at the airport. And so, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, maybe we can go with you guys or whatever. That would be fun. So we had woken up, we get ready and everything. We go meet up with our family. And I had already started drinking a little bit, but I didn't really get that fucked up in Vegas, to be quite honest with you. But I had been drinking a little bit and everything. And we're walking to Dick's Last Resort down the strip. And as we're walking, we're coming up to one of like the escalators outside to like one of the sky bridges. And I see this group of people coming down. It's the exchange students. I did not think I was going to see these fucking guys again. So as they're coming down, I'm like, look who it is. And Abby's like, oh God, who's he like seeing, because it might be one of my friends or whoever, like I think she got a little nervous and she like looks up and my whole family is like, who is he yelling at? We had just taken these like pictures in front of the strip and everything. And they're like, who's he yelling? And I'm like, these are the kids we were telling you guys about, the exchange student thing. So we talked to them. And then we headed out to the restaurant. We got over to the restaurant. They do that thing where they're like mean to you. They're like, what the fuck do you want? You know what I mean? And it was funny because our waitress was like trying really hard and my family was like buying into it and everything. But I was like, God, dude, I can just tell this lady's like so nice. You know what I mean? Outside of work, like she wasn't good. They put these little hats on you, that have these like insults. And I literally, like, I looked at Abby. I was like, I guarantee you mine's going to say small pee-pee. You know what I mean? And it was like, they don't make condoms small enough for me, so I'm wearing this stupid hat. Abby's was like, even my mom thinks I'm a slut. I'm like, I'm trying to be into it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like a mood killer or anything. So I'm laughing along, but I'm like, God, like I can tell this lady's nice. At the very end of the meal and everything, I looked at her and I was like, because I was like, what's the funniest thing I can do in this situation? And to me, it was to just be like, act like it was a completely normal restaurant. And so like, she was like walked over and she's like, throws my silverware on the table. And I'm like, thank you. So at the very end of the meal or whatever, I like looked at her and I'm like, hey, you know, I can tell that you're really nice outside of work or something like that. And she just like starts laughing. You know, I was actually Mormon for 10 years. She goes, my family doesn't know what I do. She said she's like still pretty religious outside of work. And I was like laughing so hard that she works at this restaurant where they're literally like, fuck you. And you could just see it on her. You know what I mean? I mean, she still did her job and everything. Like she gave us food and she tried to be mean to us. But like, I just could tell like it wasn't like real mean. We go hang out. We play a little bit in the casino and everything. We like roam around that night. I think this is the time where I'm going to have to pull up my fucking pictures so I can actually kind of tell you what exactly we even did. But I think we kind of had an earlier night that night. I remember what we did. We got out of Dick's and I know what we did after Dick's. So after Dick's, me and Abby, we grabbed a cab. We go over to the world's largest weed dispensary because obviously we want weed in Vegas. So we go over to this place called Planet 13. You know, we go inside and immediately as we're inside, we get a little taxi over there or whatever, take the taxi, get inside. As we're walking around and everything, immediately a guy like clocks me, man. I don't know what it is, but like there's something about Vegas, man. People fucking see me and they like immediately know I want drugs, but I don't want drugs. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to do any of these drugs, but it's funny that like, I don't know, man. It just seems like and I think, you know, there's just a higher percentage of people selling these drugs down there. But this guy like immediately like clocks me and Abby and he kind of like, what are you guys up to? You know? And he's like probably 35-year-old, potentially homeless black dude. You know what I mean? I wasn't 100% sure, but he's like, yeah, what are you guys up to? And we're like, yeah, I don't know. You know, we just flew in and everything, you know, and we're in Vegas for the weekend and stuff. And cool, you know, and he starts telling us, yeah, you know, what's nice about this place is they have such a big selection, but they're going to fuck you over, you know, in taxes and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I've kind of heard that, you know, like kind of like whatever. And then of course he goes, I won't do that. And I'm like, you know, and he's like, I can get you whatever you need, man. You need some coke, you know, you need ecstasy. And he's like telling me all of this shit in a dispensary where they have every fucking camera in the world. I can get you ecstasy. I can get you fucking Molly. I can get you whatever. And I'm like, yeah, cool, man. You know, but I'm like, fuck, I don't want any of those things. You know what I mean? I don't want weed from you either. I'd probably prefer to buy it from this dispensary because they look a little bit more established than you, not in a mean way, but is what it is, you know? And he goes, 610. And I'm like, fuck. And Abby's like kind of confused of what's happening. You know what I mean? But I'm like, dude, he's trying to like give me his phone number. You know what I mean? And I'm like, shit. So I'm like, pull out my phone and I like fake put it into my text messages. He's like 610-41, you know, tells me his whole phone number. And he's like, look, man, like I said, I can get you anything. And he's like, you call me. He's like, if I don't answer, don't worry about it. He was like, my cousin will answer. He's good. You could trust him. He's white. And I started like laughing because what the fuck, dude, that's so funny. You know what I mean? And he goes, if my cousin isn't home, my cousin's baby mama's home. She's cool too. She can do whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my God, thanks, man. And he goes, you know what? I'll meet up with you guys outside. And I'm like, fucking A. Now I'm like, great. He's waiting for us outside. So me and Abby are like, well, let's take a little extra 10 minutes in here or whatever. You know what I mean? He'll probably have found somebody else by the time we get outside. As we go back outside, you know, to grab the taxi and everything, I kind of look around. I don't see him. I'm like, okay, cool. I think we're in the clear. I walk up to this little place where they kind of like have the taxis pulling up. And he goes, hey, man, you guys need a ride? Like their little like taxi attendant guy. All of the strip places have that. Like in Vegas, if you haven't been there, like pretty much every building, it seems like on the strip has a little like valet guy pretty much that will valet park your car or set you up with a taxi and everything, you know? A lot of the casinos have like 5 of them, you know? And so this guy's like, oh, you guys need a ride? And I'm like, yeah, you know? And there's this like businessman standing next to the valet guy in like a full tuxedo briefcase. You know, he has like a name badge on and he's like this little Indian dude, you know? And he's like standing there and he's like, do you need a ride? And he was like, yeah. And so this guy pulls up and he's not a taxi driver. He's like, he has an Uber sticker, but he pulls up and he's like, yeah, man. And like the valet guy goes, yeah, he's not a taxi, but he's cool. I know him, you know, he'll drive you wherever you need. And I'm like, fuck it. You know what I mean? He's this big ass black dude. And I'm like, realistically, he does actually look like a pretty cool guy. I'm like, okay, I'll come fucking sit in his car. I don't care. You know what I mean? He'll probably take me where I want to go. He just probably doesn't like the IRS. I can fucking understand this guy. You know what I mean? He likes cash. I'm like, I get it. So I'm like, okay, you know, or no, he offers it to the Indian dude because he had been standing there, and the Indian guy kind of like looks at us because he's like, I'm not getting in this car without you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm like, he's like, will you take it with me? And I'm like, fuck, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, now what's really gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen. Now there's like all of these people in this car. Maybe you have less chances of something weird happening, you know, but we get into this car. And in about 5 seconds, I realize the Indian dude's the one that's going to do the weird shit for the entirety of this ride. So that's going to be fun. You know what I mean? We get in the car, and it was so funny because me and Abby are sitting in the back seat and this Indian dude hops in the front seat. We're sitting in this car, and the driver looks at us. He's like, where do you guys want to go? And the Indian dude, he goes, I want to go to the Venetian. And the black dude looks at him and goes, what? You know what I mean? Like, he's like, it was so fucking funny. And he goes, the Venetian, I want to go to Venetian. And he's like, I don't know what that is. Oh shit, my camera stopped recording. He's like hitting him. He's like, yeah, the Venetian. And he keeps saying it. And I'm like, and me and Abby like let it happen for about 2 seconds. And then we realized what was happening. And we're like, he wants to go to the Venetian. And he goes, you want to go to the Venetian? And he's like, yeah, Venetian. Cool, whatever. Figure it out. We drive to the fucking Venetian, right? As we pull up to the parking lot, he's like, so the whole time, right? He's doing crazy shit, this guy. He's sitting in the front seat of this guy's car. And as he's sitting up there, he goes, so what are you going to do after this? You know, like for money, you know, like pretty much like saying like, you know, you can't make enough money being a taxi driver. You know what I mean? What else are you going to do? And this dude is obviously offended a little bit, like because of the way he's saying it. And I don't even think he means to say it as offensive as he's saying it, but he's kind of being like, you know, you don't have enough money. What else are you thinking about doing? And he's like, dude, if I told you how much money I make a year, you'd shit your pants, which I believe because I can't imagine how much those fucking taxi drivers and stuff make down there. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing it off the books, whatever. And this guy's like, oh yeah, do you want to invest? Do you want to invest? And he's like, invest in what? And he's like, the ganja business. You know what I mean? And he kept saying ganja, and we were all laughing like in this car. We're like, what the fuck? But I mean, we get to the Venetian and he's like, all right, man, have a good night, all of this stuff. Because this guy's pretty much like, yeah, I'm not really into that or whatever. As we're pulling up, he goes, oh, my friend, he just met Marshmallow, the DJ, I guess. And he goes, I need to go to the Wynn, which is a completely different casino on the other fucking end. So he's like, what? He's like, now you want to go to the Wynn? You know what I mean? And so we like drive over to the Wynn now. We're still in the back seat. We get over to the Wynn and this guy's like, okay, man, like, you know, are you going to pay me pretty much? And he's like, oh, I'll send you it on Zelle. You know what I mean? The one app that's a fucking scam. You know what I mean? Like anytime you hear Zelle, I feel like that shit's a scam. It's always on Instagram. DM me with $300 and I can make you rich on the stock market through Zelle. You know what I mean? That's always those type of scams. He's like, I'll send it to you on Zelle. And this guy's like, what the fuck is Zelle? Dude, it's like such a funny interaction to like watch. And he's like, he finally is just like, he's like, yeah, I'll send it to you. I have your phone number. And he like gets out of the car and just like leaves. He doesn't even pay the fucking guy. So I don't even know like if this guy has any money or if he just like has a tuxedo or like a nice suit and just gets to cruise around Vegas by doing that all night long. And so he gets out of the car and I'm like, dude, I can't wait to start talking shit about that guy with this dude, you know? And he gets out of the car and I'm like, I wonder what he's going to say. And he turns around and he goes,
what the fuck was that? He was like, was that guy fucking weird to you? And we're like, yes, that was the fucking weirdest thing. And like, we were laughing, you know, he's like, what the fuck? He was like, I don't even care if he pays me. Get out of my car. I don't want you in here anymore. You know? And like, cause it was so bizarre. So he drives us back over to our hotel. He drops us off. We give him $20 on Cash App, you know, and like a $10 tip or whatever. Cause he was cool and shit. And realistically, if he had just taken us to our hotel, that's about how much he probably would have made as a taxi driver. It was like $30 anytime we wanted to go anywhere. It seemed like down there. Anytime you hopped in a taxi, it was immediate $30. So we get back to the hotel. Now me and Abby are strapped with weed, right? And we were going to go back out that same night because it was my little brother's friend's 21st birthday that was also down there. Abby starts hitting the dab pen. I'm hitting the dab pen. She gets way too hot, way too quick. That's what we're going to say. Okay. Joe Dirt is on the TV as well. And Abby is like, what the fuck is this movie? And I've tried to get her to watch this movie 100 times. If you haven't seen it, best movie, go watch it. I'm like, I've totally tried to get her to watch it, but she's never been interested. And she's like watching it and she's like, what is this finally? And I'm like, this is Forrest. I go, this is Joe Dirt. I was like, I've told you about this. I tried to get you to watch it, but you never wanted to or whatever. And she's like laughing. And because now, of course, she's like into it. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, it's pretty much white trash Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? She's laughing. And I'm like, Abby decides I can't go back down. I need to continue watching Joe Dirt and probably just hang out in here for the rest of the night, go to bed. And I'm like, okay, cool. I go back down, you know, with my family and everything. And we go out, we start gambling. I'm a big fan of roulette. And so I'm playing roulette and everything. I start pulling out money, you know, and down there it was past the hours. So it's $25 minimums, right? For each spin pretty much of roulette, you're paying $25. So pretty quickly in about an hour, I've lost about $250 at this one table. And we're like, holy shit, you know, and we get moved over to this other table finally. And it's $20 a bet. So it's a little bit cheaper at least. And I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm down almost $300, you know, and it's 2:00 in the morning. If I go back up to the hotel room, Abby's not going to be stoked that it's 2:00 in the morning, but she's really going to kind of be pissed, I think, that it's 2:00 and I'm like $300 down in money because that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? And so I fucking, we like go over to this other table and I pull out another 50 because I'm like, well, if I'm already down this much, let's see if I can maybe get at least a little bit back, you know? And I slowly start winning, dude. And I'm creeping back, you know what I mean? And every time I'm hitting these big bets, you know, where I'm like winning like the colorful chips, you know what I mean? Like the $25 or like 50s, you know, all of those are going into a separate pile. And I'm just playing with all of my like $5 chips right here and everything. And I finally, me, Dylan, and my dad, you know, and Matthew, his friend or whatever, we're all like hanging out at this table, you know, and I'm like slowly like collecting money back. And I finally had about $450 and I wanted to keep playing, but I was ahead 150 and I was finally like, dude, fuck it. I'm cashing out and going back to the hotel. It's 4:30. It's like 4:00 in the morning. You know what I mean? So we all go back to the hotel. I go down to the food court, and because I'm kind of drunk, because in Vegas, they give you free drinks if you're gambling at the tables and everything. And so I go down to the food court. I get us like 3 slices of pizza, breadsticks, all of this shit. I'm like, dude, now that I'm coming back up to the hotel, it's 4:00 in the morning. She's not going to be stoked about that either. But I've got about $500 cash. So she's going to be kind of stoked on that, you know? And so and pizza, you know what I mean? And so I show up and of course she's passed out. I mean, she's fully asleep. It's 4:30 in the morning and I like wake her up, you know, because I try and scan my card and it won't let me in because she locked the deadbolt. So I had to like wake her up so I could even get into the hotel room. And I'm like kind of half-ass drunk, you know what I mean? And I'm like, ah, and she's like, what's even going on? And I'm like, I brought you pizza. You know what I mean? And she's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But she was also like kind of just like whatever and like kind of laughing about it. She didn't even enjoy any of the pizza. She didn't realize the pizza was for her until the next morning. So then it was the next day, which was Sunday. And we wake up and we just kind of hung out. You know, I think we woke up pretty late. We like wandered around all of these stores and, you know, the candy store. And then we wandered over to Caesar's Palace and went and looked through all of that shit because it's like so pretty, you know. And we like came back up to the room at like 4:30 or whatever, and we had been like smoking weed, and we totally just stared out of our hotel room for like an hour or in 2 hours even, because it started raining and it was like a desert storm in fucking Vegas, and like it never rains there. While we were outside, it was crazy because Vegas isn't prepared at all for the weather. So like if it rains, they're fucked. They have outdoor escalators everywhere and shit, you know what I mean? And there's all of this stuff, and dude, they don't like brush their cement, like their sidewalks. You know what I mean? When we like here in Oregon, they pour the cement sidewalks and then they take a big ass like shop broom pretty much. And they, a lot of the times they'll like brush it. So it creates texture, you know, so when it gets wet, you don't slide around. Like I had my Air Forces on, and if you ran straight and stopped, you would slide for like 3 to 6 feet. You know what I mean? Down there, because they don't do that shit because it never rains. So we just stared out of our hotel room because it was like so pretty. But earlier on, yeah, I was just saying that Abby totally ate shit on one of the sidewalks. It was so funny. I had like all this stuff in my hand, so I totally couldn't even grab her, and she was like so far away from me, and she almost like slid into the road, you know what I mean? And she was like, hold it, and she like immediately is like trying to hop up. I like dropped stuff that I had in my hands because I was trying to grab her, you know, and like I'm like, are you okay? You know, and she's like, yeah, I'm fine. But yeah, we just went back up to the hotel room and literally just looked out the window for like a while. Finally got back into it, you know, like, okay, we're ready for Vegas again and everything. So we met back up with my family. We took this little, like one of those party buses or whatever down to Fremont Street. And so we got down there, you know, and down there, there's like the crazy ass tunnel and all of the light shows and everything and all the singers. And so we're down there. And one of the main things that they have is they have a zip line that goes all the way across Fremont Street. So you like zip line over all of these people walking, you know, if you haven't been down there and everything, you can Google it. And I'm sure there's pictures here, but there's this huge ass zip line. And so of course we paid to do that. My back is still like kind of fucked at this point where I'm walking around and just randomly having these horrible pains and everything. And so I'm kind of nervous to do this zip line. And there's 2 different zip lines. There's the $50 one where you're like 5 stories up, or you can do the $100 one where you're like 10 stories up. Well, we paid for like the 5, you know, like I didn't want to even really do it because I was so nervous about my back. We get all strapped in and everything, right? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, you know. And right before we did this, we had like weighed ourselves on this scale because there's this restaurant down there. It's like the Heart Attack Grill or something like that. And if you weigh over 400 pounds, you get to eat for free. So they have this giant scale. I weighed myself. I weigh 2 pounds less than my little brother's like girlfriend or whatever. I'm not judging. She's very skinny. I'm very skinny. You know what I mean? We're both too skinny probably. But I was like, damn, you know, like I don't. And so I didn't really even think about it then, but you need that information for the story. So we get all strapped in and everything. And as we're like going into the like setup, you know, they strap us in and they're about to put us on the elevator to take us up. And my little brother says to the guy like, hey, this isn't the super high one, right? And he goes, no, it is. And I thought he was like just messing with my brother. And so did my little brother. And like, so we get on and they take us up all the way to the tip top, right? To the big crazy one with like the late, you go face first and you're like 5 stories higher, you know. We get up there and he's like, what the fuck, you know, and he's like, I thought he was messing with me. And he's tweaking out and my little sister's tweaking out, and me and Abby and my little sister's boyfriend and my little brother's girlfriend were all trying to convince like those 2 to stay, and they're like, we're not doing it, you know what I mean, we're not doing it. And so they totally bailed, went down to the other one, but we're like, fuck it, I guess we're staying here. And I'm like, dude, my back's fucked, I probably shouldn't even do this, but like it's fate, like I have to do it, you know what I mean? They've brought me up here, I'm doing it, you know. And so I get all strapped in and everything. As we're strapped in, they lower the bed so we're kind of hanging, and I look over at my little brother's girlfriend and she has this bag dangling from her chest, and I go, what's that? And she goes, it's a weight bag, I don't weigh enough. And I was like, where the fuck's my weight bag? You know what I mean? Because I look down because I'm like, we just weighed ourselves. I weighed like at least very close to what you weigh. Like I should probably get the bag too, you know what I mean? And they don't give me a bag, you know? And I'm like, well, whatever, I guess. And I'm up there and we start going. Well, they all take off and they all start cruising, dude. They're hauling ass. And I'm like slow as fuck. And I kind of had my arms out a little bit. And I think that was a lot of it, you know? And I'm like trying to kind of go a little bit slow just to make sure I don't fucking slam into the thing and fuck up my back really bad at the end of it. Well, here we go. We start going. We make it down all the way to the end. Woo, we're yelling. It's fun and everything. And we have pictures and all of that. Well, we get to the end. They've all already landed. And here I come. I'm cruising into the dock. I'm not going fast enough. I don't make it to the dock. So then I just start gliding backwards on this fucking rope thing. And I go all the way back out to the middle. And now I'm just stuck dangling. And I'm like waving at him like, fuck, help, you know, like, what am I doing? And I get stuck out in the middle of this thing for probably like 25 minutes until this person clipped in and they have to pull themselves all the way out there, clip onto me and pull themselves all the way back. There'll be a video right here. I gave that person like $10 cash because I was like, holy shit, dude, I felt bad. Like that must be such an arm workout, you know, like that was insane. And it was just so funny because I'm like trying to swim, you know what I mean? Trying to push myself through the fucking air, you know, and you can't do anything. I was just fully stuck. So all these people are like standing down there looking up, pointing and laughing at me and stuff. And I'm laughing, you know, and then, so yeah, we did all of that, fucking went back to the hotel and everything, went to bed, woke up the next morning. We had rented a car. Me and Abby went out to the Hoover Dam, which was super cool, but I almost got us arrested, which was also super cool. No, we went to the Hoover Dam and it was beautiful. You know what I mean? I had a dab pen in my pocket though, and I wasn't even hitting it there and I wasn't even thinking about it. But we went into like the actual museum part and they have like a metal detector and a security detector. And I'm like, fuck. And like an army personnel and like a cop and all of this stuff. And the Hoover Dam is right on the border of Arizona and Nevada. And I'm like, fuck, are we on the Arizona side? And I'm like, is weed even legal in Arizona? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I kind of like start panicking and I like put everything out of my pockets up onto the tray, you know? And of course, one of them points at the weed cartridge and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I see this big sign that has like a weed symbol and a slash through it. And I'm like, oh God, you know? And I go through the metal detector. They send my little tray through and the guy like pulls me over and he's like, hey, you know, and I'm like, oh shit. And he goes, what kind of vaporizer is that? You know, cause I had my e-cig, you know, nicotine and the fucking weed in there. And he points at that and goes, what kind of vaporizer is that? And I'm like, it's marijuana, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't really know. Am I in trouble? You know, like pretty much like I'm about to like start crying. Like not really, but I'm like, fuck. Genuinely pretty scared for a second. And he was like, look, here's the deal. We can't have that here. It's this is federal property, is on federal property. So it's federally illegal, you know? And I'm like, oh fuck. Am I really going to jail over this stupid fucking dab pen? And he's like, what I can have you do is put it in that box right there. And it had like a cannabis disposal box, you know, where you could set it in there. It immediately throws it away and you never fucking see it again. And I'm like, yes, sir, I will do that, you know? But he was like, you could do that or you can leave. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he was like pretty fucking and like kind of eyeing me up, you know, and I was like, so obviously tossed it in a box real fast. We continued to explore the Hoover Dam and Abby was like, why the fuck you even have it in your pocket? I don't know, you know, I was there, you know, I don't know what I was doing. Like I didn't even think about it. I'm sorry. That's the one thing that is cool about Vegas is still, you know, I mean, I don't even really care, but it's not that cool, I guess. I guess it's kind of the opposite for me a little bit, but like, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm fine. I can control myself. But here in Portland, I mean, you can smoke weed literally anywhere. Like I don't, I think you go to the courthouse in Portland and the guy doing the metal detector's high, you know what I mean? So like, it's kind of different here where it's down there. It's not as much like that, you know, like I don't think it's, which is probably good because I probably smoked too much weed. But we rented the car, went down there to the Hoover Dam and went and saw all of that. And then we drove into Arizona, and like that was really cool to drive up, you know, and kind of like go just drive a little bit. And so we drove around in there and kept driving, turned around, came back into Las Vegas and everything. And then that night, me and Abby went to the Cactus Tree Christmas Garden because they don't have Christmas trees down there. So they decorate cacti. So that was super cool. All of those pictures are like here, dude. I mean, we loved it. Everything about it. It was so much fun. All the cactuses and shit. Like, and we took all these pictures, you know, and it's cool to just see. And then we got back to, the strip and everything. We dropped off the car, and then we went and looked at the Bellagio's like Christmas display thing that they had. And it was insane, the amount of flowers and everything that was put together, like to build all of these shapes and big poinsettias and polar bears, you know, the Coca-Cola bears and all of that stuff, dude. And then, yeah, man, we woke up the next morning, you know, that was pretty late at night and everything that we got back, and we went to bed and woke up the next morning and got on the plane and came home. And I'm sure there was a lot more to that I kind of wanted to add on there, but I feel like it's getting kind of long in the tongue right now, you know, been talking for a little too long. And I don't know, you know, I don't want to tell you every single detail, but I kind of wanted to just tell you the highlights, you know, and show some of the pictures and stuff, dude, because we had so much fun. And again, like, I don't know, I could realistically see myself doing this podcast from Las Vegas in the next year or so. So wish me luck on that. Please subscribe to the Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. We're working on getting all of those episodes posted where I, you know, we'll get all of those posted. We'll get all those posted and then you guys go subscribe. How about that? But just know it's there. How about that? Have a good night. I appreciate you guys. Joy. Drive safe if you have winter weather. Bye-bye.